Hey YouTube, Santa Frank here. Today's episode of Friday Fun. I just wanted to do a video on some interesting things I see on eBay right now. Some things that I don't totally get, but I'm happy to see them. And I was wondering what you guys' thoughts were on this. I've been noticing, like, I talked about this many months ago, about how a PSA 10 sells so much higher than a PSA 9 or a PSA 8. And I think that gap is getting even more and more and more. And I'm wondering why that is, because as I've graded stuff, I've cracked a bunch of 9s before that I thought, this looks like a 10. I'll try it again. You know, it's worth me doing another try to get a 10 when a PSA 10 sells for so much more than like a PSA 9. I've cracked PSA 7s before, PSA 6s, and didn't see anything wrong with the card, sent it off, and got back PSA 10s. So, very rare to find a PSA 7 card that got that badly misgraded. But it happens. And I mean, I just picked this up. Bobby Witt Jr., great player. One of the top players in the league, no doubt. Rookie card from Heritage. This is a set that's super tough to grade. A PSA 8, you know, not a great grade. But the card is beautiful, well-centered. There's no, like, white chipping on the edges. This bottom corner right here is a little bit, bad. But, I mean, it's not a PSA 10 probably, but definitely a nice card. And someone thought enough of it to grade it. I didn't grade that one, but I picked that up off eBay. And I was able to get this Bobby Witt PSA 8 for literally less than $8. And that was it wasn't an auction, that was their asking price for the card. And you might be saying, oh, Sandy Frank. Yeah, you might have bought it for, $7 something, but you had to pay like $6 or $7 to have it shipped to you. No, the shipping for a graded card from this seller was $1.25, which blew my mind. It's like you can't ship a graded card for $1 something. I see a lot of sellers that have free shipping, which, I don't do free shipping, just because, I like to try to cover my shipping costs, and usually cards that go for free shipping don't sell for any more than cards that have shipping with them. There's a lot of people that don't care about the shipping costs, they just want the card. So I always charge shipping on an eBay sale. I mean, it's less than what it actually cost me to ship it, but at least I get some of that, the money back from the shipping. But when I ship a gray card, it's always, like, nowadays, it's probably costs like between $5.50 and $6.50 to ship a graded card. Of course, I like to ship things with tracking, that way I know the card gets to where it's supposed to go. But, yeah, I was really shocked that this seller was only charging $1.25 to ship a card that was way underpriced to start with. I mean, you look at the cert number on this, it's a pretty recent cert number, so I'm guessing they possibly even paid like not just the bulk shipping rate or grading rate. So I'm guessing that probably cost between $16 to $20 to grade, at least. And plus, it's a Bobby Witt Jr. rookie card. Just a lot of things didn't make sense in this thing. So, guys, go on eBay. There's tons of people just wanting to sell cards, sell their stuff, and don't worry about grades, is another point of this. A PSA 8 looks awesome. It's still a near mint card. PSA 9 is actually a mint grade of a card, and is usually just one very small flaw on the card. They're beautiful cards. The market severely undervalues PSA 8s and 9s. And they overvalue PSA 10s, guys. Use that to your advantage. If you have two cards and one got a 9 and one got a 10, and you're like, man, I don't see any difference in these two cards. There probably isn't any difference in those two cards. It's just the grader just decided, I'm going to give one a 9 and one a 10. These PSA graders are not perfect. They make mistakes. They are no doubt rushed to get orders out and are not going to look your card over that closely, especially if it's just a modern card that they see thousands and thousands of them every week. Now, if it's like a more valuable card, I know they probably take a little more time looking it over, make sure that they don't give an inaccurate grade. But a card like this, Bobby Witt, probably got looked at for probably 10 seconds. They saw that corner and it's like, okay, it's an 8. But, I mean, I've seen this at the local hobby shop too. Not even some PSA 10s for way less than the price of a grading fee. And I just don't understand. Maybe GameStop. Now, GameStop is becoming a major player in a lot of things with card collecting. They are buying graded cards. And they don't pay hardly anything for graded cards, but they're still getting them. So people are out there. Maybe they were big collecting into the boom, the grading boom, and now they just want to get rid of all of it. So, it is what it is. It's true market conditions. This could just be deals out there to be had of people just dumping their graded collections. I think graded cards are always going to be a thing, as long as trading cards are always a thing. And I think if you get rookie cards that are graded, licensed rookie cards, graded by PSA or BGS or CGC or SGC, I mean, those are the big 4 grading companies. If you get those for like super cheap prices, it's really tough to say that was a loss, especially if the player is really good, like a Bobby Witt Jr. and a rookie card. Very easy way to flip something, I think, is buy a severely underpriced PSA 9 or PSA 8. Look it over. If you think it could get a 10, crack it, resubmit the card. If it gets a 10, you've probably tripled your money. I mean, it's crazy how that gap exists between PSA 10 and PSA 9 and 8. There's barely any gap between PSA 9 and PSA 8. It's basically PSA 10 or bust is the thought process by a lot of collectors, I think, or maybe grader and flipper type collectors. So, guys, keep your eyes out for good deals on graded cards. As people that are tired of being in the hobby are just wanting to get on to something else and liquidate their collections and utilize that gap between PSA 10 and PSA 9. Use that to your advantage. Look a card over, a PSA 9, especially like an Otani rookie or something like that. If that looks like, hey, I could get a 10, you might get a 10. Just look it over very closely. And I'm sure you're looking at it way closer than the grader is actually looking at it, even though they probably have a better grading eye. They're not spending that much time on it. So there's always that chance that you could crack PSA 9 and get a PSA 10, and then all of a sudden you have a very, very high demand, high priced card that you can easily pay for other stuff that you want. Anyway, it was just a thought I had, especially after this eBay listing, and had me thinking, why are PSA 8s of like a Bobby Witt Jr. like half as much as the grading costs at this point? Is it the junk slab era? All right. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos later.